Hello students, now we are going to discuss about our third chapter, that is foreign exchange market. So far we have been discussing about international finance, its various aspects and objective functions, importance, etc. Along with that we already discussed different institutions that are working internationally for the upliftment of underdeveloped and developing nations like IMF and World Bank. And we have seen about the various associates, that various wings of this IMF and World Bank, and their lending schemes, special lending schemes, and their concessional loans, soft loans, etc. Now we are moving on to foreign exchange market. So for all these kind of exchanges, we should have a market. That's an important thing where the transaction is taking place. To take place a transaction, there should be a market. So now we are moving on to foreign exchange market. Let's see what is foreign exchange market. Before that, we know what is a market. Market is actually a place where goods are purchased and sold. Two activities that happen in a market is buying and the selling of a product. So when we are talking about this foreign exchange market also, here also the process or the procedure happening is buying and selling of goods. Instead of goods, in foreign exchange market, mainly the dealings are borrowings and investing is done in case of currencies. Different nation currencies are dealt in foreign exchange market. So foreign exchange market is an important segment of international financial market. Without this market, we cannot conduct international business. International business is conducted or carried out between two nations having different currencies. So for the transaction, for the sake of business, for the transaction, we should get a market to invest and to borrow the currency. That is, these transactions are carried out between a common currency. That is the main point that you should keep in mind. So foreign exchange market will deal with a currency which is hard enough to sustain all the unstable, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ all the flexibilities happening in the market. Okay. അപ്പം ഫോറിൻ എക്സ്ചേഞ്ച് മാർക്കറ്റ് എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞിട്ടുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ ഫോറിൻ എക്സ്ചേഞ്ചിനെ പ്രൊമോട്ട് ചെയ്യാൻ വേണ്ടിയിട്ടുള്ളതാണ്. ദ ഫോറിൻ എക്സ്ചേഞ്ച് മാർക്കറ്റ് ഫെസിലിറ്റേറ്റ് ഇൻ്റർനാഷണൽ ട്രേഡ് ആൻഡ് ഇൻ്റർനാഷണൽ ട്രാൻസാക്ഷൻസ്. ദ എക്സ്ചേഞ്ച് മാർക്കറ്റ് ഇസ് ദ ലാർജസ്റ്റ് ഫിനാൻഷ്യൽ മാർക്കറ്റ് ഇൻ ദ വേൾഡ്. സോ ആ എക്സ്ചേഞ്ച് നടക്കണമെങ്കിൽ അവിടെ ഒരു മീഡിയം ആയിട്ടുള്ള ഒരു കാര്യം വേണം, എങ്കിൽ മാത്രമേ എക്സ്ചേഞ്ച് നടക്കുകയുള്ളൂ. അല്ലാതെ കുറേ ആളുടെ കയ്യിൽ കറൻസീസ് ഉണ്ട് എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞുകൊണ്ട് അവിടെ എക്സ്ചേഞ്ച് നടക്കില്ല. സോ you should have a place where we can transfer these currencies. So we can say, at very narrow sense, we can say foreign exchange market is a place where investors can invest and borrowers can borrow foreign currencies to in the sake of business, to carry out business. Now let us see what is the importance, what is the need of this foreign exchange. If foreign exchange is not there, how will we transfer this goods and services? So when we are talking about international business, there are two or more countries involved in this business. So each country has its own currency, and that currency may not be valid in another country. So for this transaction make it happen, we should find a way to transfer these two countries' currencies. Say for example, if a person in India wants to buy a product from USA, and we should give cash in dollar in USA, because USA's legal tender money is dollar. So we should give that cash in dollar. So for this purpose, the Indian or the person who are having Indian money, Indian rupees, that is the legal tender of India, Indian rupees, INR, should be converted to US dollars. Otherwise we cannot conduct a transaction in USA. So for this purpose we should convert Indian rupees into US dollar, and this conversion of home currency into foreign currency and vice versa is known as foreign exchange. just the conversion of a currency into another foreign currency, and also vice versa. When we are talking about the Indians, when we are Indians, we are talking about a foreign currency like dollar. When we are converting INR into dollar and dollar into INR, we can say it's a foreign exchange. And for this exchange to make it happen, we should have an intermediary, we should have a place to make it happen, and that is called foreign exchange market. So I hope you understand what is foreign exchange and foreign market. So in short, we can say foreign exchange is currency of foreign countries other than domestic currency. For us, other than INR, Indian rupees, every other currencies are considered to be a foreign currency. So we can say foreign currencies are there, foreign checks, foreign drafts, etc. are there. Foreign exchanges include all this kind of transaction, not only foreign currency. Now we can see what are the different types of foreign currencies. So foreign currencies can be classified into two main categories, that is hard currencies and soft currencies. When we are talking about this hard currency, I can say a prominent example like US dollar. US dollar is a hard currency. So we can now you can imagine what is a hard currency. So hard currency is a currency which have a fairly wide acceptance for the settlement worldwide. That means that currency is accepted most of the countries, in most of the countries, because due to its stability. It is not that much vulnerable to the fluctuations happening in the market. So when we are saying about rupees and currency, why all the people, why most of the country is relying on current dollar? Because it is not vulnerable to any kind of fluctuations that will happening in the market. It is stable to some extent, it is stable, but it's not in the case of Indian rupees. So these kind of currencies that are able to withstand the flexibilities are called hard currencies, and that kind of currencies are widely accepted all over the world, and so they are called hard currency. Such currencies are hard currencies, and we can see examples like US dollar, British pound, Japanese yen, etc., euro, etc. are examples of hard currencies. So in short, hard currencies are freely convertible and not easily accepted to depreciate. That is, these currencies are not actually very vulnerable to depreciation or flexibility. They are hard, strong enough to sustain the different what fluctuations happening in the market. So now we will understand very clearly that is what is soft currency, isn't it? Soft currency is currencies that are not widely accepted as a medium of settling international financial transactions. So soft currencies are not worldwidely accepted currencies only because they are not flexible. They are No, they are flexible only because they are flexible. They are vulnerable to changes. They will change according to the market conditions. When demand and supply is highly influenced on this soft currency, and it will affect the value of this currency, and it may fluctuate in a very unpredictable manner. So these currencies are considered soft currencies. So usually there is no free market for foreign exchange for them, these soft currencies, and they are not easy to acquire. These cannot be easily converted. Many soft currencies are subject to restrictions by government or monetary authorities, because these are currencies that cannot be relied so much. As we are depending on hard currencies, we cannot relay such kind of dependence to this soft currencies. So we can see examples like Zimbabwe dollar, North Korean won, Cuban peso, etc. are such kind of soft currency that are not widely accepted and widely used as the legal tender of money. So that's all about hard currency and soft currency. Next we can see what is the meaning of actually foreign exchange market. So we have seen about foreign exchange and market. You already know it. What is market? So market means simply a place where the commodities and services are bought and sold. So when we are saying about foreign exchange market, it's a place where we are transferring different types of currencies and checks, drafts, etc. related with different two countries. There should be a buyer and a seller, then only it's become a transaction. So a foreign exchange market is not a different thing. It's same as the same market where only the product or the goods that is transferred is different. The commodity traded is currency. That is the main point that should be kept in mind while saying about this foreign exchange market. It's also a market where we are transferring goods and services, but here the goods and service is only currency or the legal tender. There are buyers and sellers for this commodity. This is bought and sold by giving or receiving another currency. Thus foreign exchange market is a market for the purchase and sale of foreign currencies. That is the main point that should be kept in mind. It's actually about a market as it is working as a common market, but here the product or service is the currency, and the transaction is happening between two currencies. There take place the exchange between two currencies happening between the buyer and seller. If for example, if a person is in need in a US dollar, he can transfer it with any other currency, that is British pound or something like that, and the buyer is in need of US currency and seller may be in need of British pound. Then there an exchange take place, and here the price or the difference is the income of the buyer or seller. That the difference in the currency exchanges, difference that is occurring in between the currency exchanges, is the profit of the seller or buyer. You can see one or two definitions. According to Butler, the foreign exchange market is largely an interbank market that deals in spot and forward currency transactions. Actually, all are in opinion that it's a market where foreign exchange is taking place, and it may be for spot or forward currency. You already know what is a spot market and a forward market. So here any kind of the spot or forward, future or forward transaction is happening. It's just a market where this kind of currency transaction is taking place in a spot manner or in a forward manner. In other words, Kindleberger is said that the foreign exchange market is a market for a national currency anywhere in the world, as the financial centers of the world are united in a single market. Okay, so the national currency anywhere in the world as a financial center of world are united in a single market. So we are considering the total world in as a single unit, single area, single market to transfer currency. So that are the definitions of international foreign exchange market. So overall, when we are saying about this foreign exchange market, the currency to be exchanged in order to facilitate international trade or financial transactions. For example, I have told already many examples what's happening in this foreign exchange market. The person who are in need of a type of currency, person who are in need of a particular kind of currency are searching for a seller who are ready to sell this currency, and they find that person in this market, and they will start to enter into an agreement for selling this currency and buying the currency. And the main thing or the profit of this transaction is that currency exchange rate differences in the exchange rate is considered as the profit or revenue to the seller or buyer. The main thing that should keep in mind, or that should be noticed, that this foreign exchange market is not actually a place. It's not a brick and mortar place. It's actually virtual place is there, and it's not restricted to any place or any country. Actually, in recent times, foreign exchange is traded through online. Now it's almost happening in internet, and we can say it's not actually not actually physical. It's a virtual place and not constrained to any place or any country. Let's see what are the features of foreign exchange market. So foreign exchange market, the first feature is that it is an over the counter market. It is not an actual place, it's not there. It's just an online platform where the transaction between the currencies take place, exchange of different types of currencies take place, and it's a over the counter market. Then second feature is that foreign exchange market operates 24 hours a day. Because it is an online platform, the transactions happens all the time. Because in the world, we know there are many countries, and in different countries different times are followed. So if it is a night here, it will be a day in the other side of the world. So transactions can be happened anytime at any place. So it's actually a virtual setup, so there's no time limitations as of a normal common market. So third feature is that the foreign exchange market has two sub markets, that is spot market and forward market. I've already told you, like the transaction may happen on the spot or in a forward manner. So we can see that this foreign exchange market also has the transaction happen in two ways, that is spot market and forward market, and this classification take place on the basis of actual delivery of foreign exchange. That is, in spot market the currencies are traded for immediate delivery. That is why we are calling it as a spot market, okay, for the rate of existing on the day of transaction itself. And in forward market, this contract are made to sell and buy the currencies for a future delivery, say after 1 month, 2 month, etc., for a future period. It's happening for a future period. That is called the forward market. And in spot market, the transaction is happening on the spot. Fourth feature is that foreign exchange market, it's happening in a government determined price called parity. Parity is allowed in a foreign exchange market. That is a standard rate fixed by the government for a currency, at which that currency can be exchanged for another. That is a standard rate fixed by the government for the transaction or before the transaction for a particular currency fixed by that country's government. And fifth point is that in foreign exchange market the rate of currencies may fluctuate. Thus there is a foreign exchange risk. Always this risk factor is there in any market, and so as it is there in each and every market, foreign exchange market also is facing the risk of exchange. That is, this currency may be vulnerable to many flexible rates. That is, it may fluctuate due to the market conditions that is operating in the market, and this fluctuation may affect the exchange rate of this currency, and that may lead to loss or gain for the buyer. So that kind of risk is always there, as it is there in every kind of market. Foreign exchange market also has exchange rate risk. Then sixth point is that the participant in the foreign exchange market are individuals, firms, banks, governments, and occasionally the international agencies. So the participant in that foreign exchange market may be any person, not only an individual. It can be a organization, firm, or anyone.